Well, welcome to Shady Sports Network here as part of our AFL coaches series. As the AFL coaches have been getting announced, we've been trying to catch interviews with them. And today, in a surprise to a lot of people, the Georgia Force were announced as coming back to the AFL as the AFL gears up for the 2024 season. And we were lucky enough to land coach Ramon Robinson as for an interview today. His first interview, as he just so told me off camera, since the announcement took place earlier this afternoon. Coach, thank you so much for joining me, and here for everybody at Shady Sports, thank you for joining us and carving time out of your life for this.
Yes, thank y'all for having me on.
Well, to be completely honest with you, I had to do a little digging as far as seeing what you were about, and I saw that you have an EPT football academy. Can you just touch on that a little bit for me, real quick? Because I'm
Yeah,
really intrigued by this.
right. Actually, EPT Football Academy is something I actually started once I retired and stepped away from the arena and indoor game back in 2011. And, the process of me starting that and the whole thought came into play was me being at different teams, playing for different teams across the country, coaching at different teams, and me obviously seeing kids once we do camps and little kids at that time talking about they having quarterback coaches and things of that sort, especially with me being a former quarterback. And I'm just like, this little kid has a quarterback coach at this age. I'm like, what do they do that at? So me being from the South, a lot of the things with the type of training, to enhance your game or whatever position it is, it wasn't well known. Of course, you can find strength trainers and speed trainers everywhere across the country, but in the South, it wasn't a norm. And so what I did for myself, I told Mr. Paul Warfield, who's an NFL Hall of Famer, years ago when he was my mentor, that, I wanted to eventually start my own sports organization once I retired from the game of football. And that's how I came back and came up with the company called EPT Football Academy, which stands for Elite Position Training. And I also started out with just quarterbacks starting out, but once I started looking at my brotherhood of friends and things of that sort, that's when I didn't do it selfishly. And I said, you know what, besides just upgrading the position at quarterback, I said, I'm going to start adding on qualified guys that knew what they was talking about, that could play the game at a high level and also instruct the game at a high level and create a team of guys that we can help out, all the kids in the surrounding state, surrounding area and in the state of South Carolina. And that's what I've done. And I put together a team and we've been at it ever since then. And, I've been, and it started out small to now a national quarterback trainer and the rest is history.
No, man, that's awesome. I'm so glad to see that. I'm glad to hear that too, because I feel like a lot of players that when they give back, like a lot of times they don't necessarily give back in because they have other things that they end up doing. So it's always awesome to hear when players give back and kind of like pay it forward type of situation. So that's awesome story for me, man. I love hearing that.
Yeah, it's a process. I mean, once you sit down and you start just to looking at things, and especially at the quarterback position, and everybody wants to criticize that quarterback, everybody wants to criticize that head coach. You got what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, nobody ever wants to step in those cliques. Nobody ever wants to step in those shoes and be in that situation when it's time for constructive criticism. You know what I'm saying? These are the two most criticized positions. They all on the same level. It's a 1A, 1B. With
Hmm.
they're not looking for the other outlets to blame somebody else. They blaming those two main guys. And I always tell guys when I'm mentoring them and I'm developing them at quarterback is that you have to have a short-term memory when it comes to the game, when it comes to mistakes, and it comes to you hearing things or reading things to where you can't just dwell on them and just sit there and let it sit on you, because if you do, you're going to get angry. And at the same time, you're not in the position to play angry and to be successful and lead. You got what I'm saying? So it have to have a short-term memory when it comes to making mistakes and things that you hear that don't care to hear, to where you're the second in charge. Everybody always, yeah, you got assistant head coach, you got a D coordinator and offensive coordinator, but at the end of the day, you're a representative of what the head coach is all about. And you're the second guy in charge. Who's in charge when you're on that field? Not the head coach. It's you.
Not the head coach. Yep.
You are the head coach. You're the head coach of that offense to those guys. You're leading that team. You have a guy that's leading as a whole when it comes to everything, but when it comes to doing your job, You have to do your job as a quarterback and be that head coach and instruct and drive that team up and down the field.
Love that philosophy. I love it because, the quarterback and head coach, like you said, I mean, not only do you have to have a short-term memory, you have to have thick skin, especially when it comes to, the spotlight always shining on those two specific positions in football.
Oh yeah,
So,
you have to have a tough skin because I, all the time I say y'all don't understand who has the hardest job, right?
oh
They
yeah,
be,
for sure.
they say they be like, who got the hardest job? I say, who has the hardest job is your parents are sitting in the stands. Your parents,
Hey, that's yeah.
hey, your parents have to sit in the middle of, oh, that quarterback sucks. Oh, he's the greatest thing. Put the other quarterback in. The next thing you know, you go back to back series and score touchdowns, and guess what? Ooh, he's really good, and so forth. Then guess what? You make another mistake. Guess what they're doing again? They back to bashing you at the same time. Your parents having to sit in the middle of this pop bipolar situation that's going on. And so y'all have to be weary of what you're doing and how you're representing not just yourself, but also your family and your team. So it's just y'all think y'all got a hard job. Imagine what your parents going to do when you're not out there operating and doing what you're supposed to do as a leader and the quarterback of a team.
And yeah, I mean that's nothing that you said there isn't accurate, especially at that position. And again, I love that philosophy. We do have a question already inside the comments for you. It's from it was Shady Sports Network co analyst here, Chris. He just wants to know what the quarterback room is looking like. If you can touch base on that, I don't know.
You know what? I'd rather, I get that. I've been getting that a lot. It was like, hey, man, you training pretty much everybody. You in the loophole of the quarterbacks of the world. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, yeah, I am. But you got to understand, let me say this here. This is a opportunity that I've been contemplating for the last 5, 6 months.
Mm,
And, just whether I was wanting to get back at the same time. I've had the opportunity to coach indoor ball since I got out of the game. It's just that demographically and what my goal was as far as with my business and what I got established, it didn't make sense to me. With it bringing it coming to the Atlanta market, it sparked my interest. With me only being an hour and a half, 45 minutes away in South Carolina, it sparked my interest to get my feet back wet in regards to, coaching another team. And when it comes to talking about the quarterback, I'm very picky the quarterback position. Do I have a roster of guys that I'm actually looking at? Yes, I do. I think I got a pretty strong list of guys that can play it, but at the same time, people have to understand is your success outside when you get inside them 28 by 50 walls doesn't mean anything. Okay, they don't mean anything. I came out of college, one of the strongest arms in the country. I was throwing the ball 80 yards. And guess what? It ain't an 80-yard throw in there. Wall to
mm.
wall, that field is 70 yards. So therefore, it does not matter how strong your arm is and so forth. It's all about decision making, anticipating the throw, and getting the ball out your hand. And so I hear a lot of guys, hey man, I threw for this many yards. And I've been getting a resume, but obviously until I can see you in real live action in that compact, I call it in the phone booth because that's what it is, then I evaluate you as a quarterback. And a lot of times you can be the top and main guy in the country in your class and things like that, and was in camps and so forth. But when it comes down to the arena game, it's a little different. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, oh yeah.
Look, it's a little different. Everybody think they can play it and it looks easy. It looks easy till you get hit in the mouth, you know.
I mean, we say here all the time, like, just because you're successful outside doesn't mean you're going to be successful inside, and vice versa. Like, it all depends on the skill set. So, I mean, that again, that's another great angle, especially from a former player who played the position, and how you're looking at that.
Right. And that's what they have to understand. Like you can look at this and that from every angle you want to, but at the end of the day, do you understand the indoor game? Do you understand what's going on with professional football here? And once you can understand that and anticipate throws and dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's, then that's when we can make the decision on if this game is for you. That's not to say that everybody outside can adapt to the game. It's just that Now we're talking about one high motion. We back to one high motion. When I first started out coming out of college, we talking about one high motion. We're not talking about back in the days in the NIFL. I've signed in the AFL before. I played in AF2. I played in the NIFL when it was only the two dominant leagues at the time was the AFL and the NIFL. You know what I'm saying? Before they bring up the deuce. But
Mm.
my point in saying that is you got different philosophies. The NIFL was more suited for guys that came from outdoors just because you could play just like outdoor ball inside those small walls. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Run true coverages and have a true running back. That was a shifty guy that's lightweight versus an arena ball. You want somebody that's going to be a head knocker that's weighing 250 plus, that's not going to get tired of running through a brick wall. You got what I'm saying? And that's the difference. You got what I'm saying? So is the difference of the game is the speed as well. Now you're talking about the real deal Holyfield when we're talking about pre-snap read. You know what I'm saying? Pre-snap read, anticipating the throw, throwing the receiver open. Now that's what you're getting now because I always reflect back to when I used to watch Kurt Warner playing. You know what I'm saying? I'll never forget when I sat on my sofa when I was in in high school watching the Miami, I think Miami Tropics playing at the time. And I'm looking, I was like, man, I'll never play that game. You know what I'm saying? I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Me and my best friend, we said that. That's my brother. We talked to Bobby McGowan. So he played for the Portland Forest Dragons and the Oklahoma Wranglers. We talked about it. We was like, man, I ain't playing that crap. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't the NFL or the CFL, we wasn't doing it. So first thing that came along was the Arena Football League. And so now that was the first thing we said we wasn't going to play to where we fell in love with the game. You know what I'm saying? Because the game of the arena football game will humble you in a lot of ways. You got what I'm saying? When you think you
Hmm.
know it all, you don't know it all. You know,
So, so you didn't choose the game of arena. Arena chose you, right? That's
it
the.
it chose me because at the end of the day, you're young, we all say foolish stuff when we're young and what we ain't gonna do and what we, you know what I'm saying, and it just came that time when it was talking about a paycheck, you know, and it's like, hey, you going on waiver camp, you're going to an NFL waiver camp, okay, you go to the camp, they send you back home, you know what I'm saying, you're doing this, especially with me coming out of Division II school. And not that I wasn't a talent, I was just as talented as anybody that was on anybody's first round board through seven. It's just that I came out of an unparticular situation being a Division II football player with a startup program as well. And it's just that was my choice. I had plenty of choices to leave Benedict College to go to other Division I schools, but I decided to stay. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, if I didn't stay, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be in this position be able to, you know, do the things that I'm doing now when it comes to the community and giving back and also being in this position to coach again and give back. And, you know, and like I said, it's one of those things, man. It's just I didn't choose it, but when I said I wanted to be a professional athlete, it's time to put all those differences to the side and go for what you know. You know what I'm saying? And this opportunity led to this opportunity, to that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And so I was very fortunate enough to be able to play under quite a few coaches and be able to, you know, see the game at different angles and differentiate the difference of the when you're talking about the indoor game, you're talking about arena football. Oh, people look at it, yes, they got no, it is a difference. Okay.
Mm. Oh yeah.
Is a difference. Okay, so that's what people have to understand. It's like it's fast paced. When you playing, you know, you got the two high motion guys, and like I said before, and you got a real running back, it's a different ball game. Indoor
Yeah.
game, you run cover threes. You can run cover two, a true cover two. Or, you know, you got what I'm saying. So now when you're talking about your jack linebacker and your big boy in there, hey, it's a different ball game. You go through this gap. Ain't no twisting, going outside the tackle box and things of that sort. Those are the things like you truly have to understand the game of arena football to be effective in arena football. If not, it's going to be flags everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, and I think that the rule changes like that is one of the most obviously drastic changes from the outdoor to indoor world. I wanted to circle back real quick because you said you've been contemplating this for about 5 or 6 months, and I am curious if you can. When did you decide that you were going to take this, and did you immediately start working on your coaching staff, or are you still in the processes of trying to fill that out?
Well, when I saying that, I say that to contemplating because uh, what I do, I'm in a position where I develop quarterbacks, and I'm known as a quarterback developer. I'm not tooting my horn and all this stuff. It's just that's my thing. I love to develop a quarterback and develop them. So I've had a lot of opportunities come my way on the collegiate level, and a lot on the D2 level, and a lot on the FCS level. It's just the fact of it is, I'm so engaged with what I do, and I love the position of quarterback to where I've always been. I was at the edge. I'm not going to say the college, but I was at the edge this summer of taking a job at the FCS level, and it was just like I backed off of it. You know what I'm saying? I
Okay.
backed because the fact of my business and what I do. I love what I do. I love my kids and what I do. I love the results that I get from it, and not just with my training business. I have another organization that I'm a part of. It's called the QB Legacy, and that's with me, Ron Veal, Donovan McNabb, Woodrow Danzler, Jeff Blake, Raymond Filial, who's another arena football name that everybody knows, along with and Andrico Hines. All of these guys, and you talking about, you know, letting go. No, I'm not going to things go. And this opportunity here was an opportunity that it being right down the road, I'm still able to run my business, still able to get back into coaching. I've always wanted to get back into coaching, but it just had to be the right reason. You know what I'm saying? The right fit for me. You know, high school football is high school football for me. I want something that's a challenge. And this is a challenge for me. You got what I'm saying? Just
Oh
because
yeah.
of the new generation of guys, because a lot of these guys don't know what arena football is. They think they know what football is, but they don't know what arena football is. You know, and I contemplated it for a while, and I finally made my decision. Um, probably, I probably made my decision in my head a couple months ago.
Okay. All right.
You
That's
know,
fair.
a couple months ago. I mean, this process of being A1 was a process. You got what I'm saying?
Oh
It was
yeah.
a process, especially with everybody that I'm seeing right now that's a part of the AFL now are teams that's already been functioning, still functioning. You know what I'm saying? It's only a few teams that went dead and went dark in the AFL. A lot of them just moved to other leagues, like what we're talking about, and you know, to where they went to the 2 high motion guys, 3 high motion guys, and things of that sort. To where now you're talking about arena football is 1 high motion, and but a lot of them still have their base. When I say the base, they still have their fan base and things like that. There is no fan base you can say really that's in the Atlanta market. But the good thing about it is they was able to retain that name to where
Yeah.
that name is still loud in the area. When you say the force, I mean not the force, I mean, you know what I'm saying? When you say the Georgia force, it's still loud. Now, if you're saying another name, people ain't gonna grasp onto it. And you got to understand you're in Atlanta, you're in a professional city to where they're all sports. And now you have everything. You dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's when it comes to every outlet when it comes to professional sports for men and women. But my decision was made a couple months ago, and I've also been talking with assistant coaches that I've played with, I've played against, I've coached against during my time. And now it's just a matter of if we're going to be a fit, you know, and I will start the interviewing process of who I'm bringing in. I'll start that as early as next week. Do I have a pretty much a do I do pretty much have an idea of who I'm looking to bring? Of course, I'm not going to go into anything blindsided. You know, I've
Yeah.
learned that. I've learned that during my time when I was a coach. You know, I was a coach in the indoor game for 4 years. You know, I was in Charlotte with the Charlotte Speed for 2 years. I was in Harrisburg for 2 years. I was assistant coach also with the Huntington Heroes back in the day. So it's just I I know the process. I learned the process. You know what I'm saying? So I've been a general manager. I've been a director of player personnel, director of football operations. So the little things when it comes to the administration part, I lock those things in just to add to my resume, along with things if I ever come across again to be in that position that I know how to tackle. Because this coaching thing ain't no different than playing.
just just from a different end, different angle, right?
Just from a different end, you may not be sweating. You sweating, but at the same time, it's not the physical for you anymore. It's more the mental, you know. And with the football, it's the mental and the physical as a player. But as a coach, it's still the mental part where you still got to put things in line and be very organized with what you're doing.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point about the Georgia Force being a brand that people recognize, especially down in the Georgia area, because of their recognition from the first AFL when it hit premium heights. I do have to ask, because obviously, as you know, the arena and indoor game kind of I mentioned this in one of my other interviews, tends towards leaning towards the sides of instability. And
Mhm.
the AFL has attempted a couple different times. I think this might be the third time, I believe, trying to come back. And there's a lot of doubters and naysayers and trolls out there, obviously, that are trying to, kind of dampen this fire. What was about this process from the time that you were approached about this job to today's announcement that has got you sold on just everything, whether it's from the ownership group down there with Andre, is it Andre White?
Maurice, yeah,
And
they have the
uh
wrong name in there.
oh, they had the wrong name in the press release.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, and Commissioner Hutton and the AFL, what was it about it that you kind of sold on here in this situation, if you don't mind me touching base on that?
Well, the one thing is that you said that they came out and it was a process with it, the process elimination.
Hmm.
You know, like every owner went through a process elimination in regards to who they were going to hire and things like that. And so when you get to the point of process elimination, what made me feel as though it's a strong and the things I listened, for one, I listened to everything that was going on. And you talked about the arena leagues tried to start up and so forth, whatever it may be. Well, when it did start up, it was all conversation. There was no movement. That's the difference. The difference of it is now it's movement, it's live action, things are in place, there's structure, there's been meetings, we've been meeting, things like that on Zooms. So that right there showed me in the strong stability with the guys that are, owning the league now. And so now you got certain owners in place to where it shows that the quality of football that's coming back, with professional football is real. You can talk about anything, but if until you put it in motion, that's when it's real. It's in motion now. It's a difference of you saying, hey, the arena league is coming back. Hey, the XFL is coming back, things like that. And I was just like, we all have heard that. We've all seen TV where the XFL was doing so great years ago. The next thing you know, hey, we're not returning for the next year. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah,
How many times the XFL been around? Six, I mean, three times?
yeah, sure.
But you
Yeah,
understand what I'm saying is just that things things can get in motion, but at the same time, until you get the true support behind everybody, and that's every organization, then that's when it's going to be rocket science. I mean, it's going to fly. And I think with you bringing back the teams and things like that from the old school, that's the point. That's the main thing that I saw when they was just like they're trying to get this name back, they're trying to get this back, and I like that they were going after a lot of former arena football and indoor coaches, I mean players that are coaching now. I like that part where they
hmm
give the new generation of older coaches the opportunity to lead an organization and for a team and a league that they all played in. And that's what I saw. And I saw the structure of everything that's with the league right now to where I say, hey, why not take a shot?
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm here with Georgia Force head coach, Ramon Robinson, who is going to be leading the Georgia Force in the AFL 2024 as they kick off here as well. I got a couple more. We've been talking a lot about process, and Krish once again has chimed in, and he wants to know what is your recruiting process like, and have you signed anybody yet? Which is one of the questions that I feel like you may not necessarily be able to hit on just yet, but
Chris, Chris just asked me about my quarterback room.
yeah,
Why?
that's what I'm saying. Like, apparently, he just wanted to kind of do a little bit of a different twist on the same question, I guess. So,
Chris is anonymous. He a scout for another team or something, man. Hey, just wait. Just tell, hey, Chris, just look at the AFL transaction wire. You all the information you need. But no, I haven't. I haven't signed anyone. Just to be honest, I haven't signed anyone. And like I said before, I'm gonna be very particular in regards to the guys that I bring in because the staff that I'm going to put together, they're going to know what they're looking for. They're not going to have me breathing over their back. to know what they're looking for. First of all, you want to look for experience, but at the same time, it's indoor experience. But I want to be able to find the guys that are hungry to learn the game as well. And, so that process is going to happen. And I mean, it's going to happen soon. Like I said, got to start getting some names down on paper and building a roster, but also there's a lot of other outlets out there. And the main key is going to be what happens with the merger of the USFL and the XFL in regards to what guys are out there that's going to be available. I mean, because of what the guys are going to make this year is going to be very pleasing for the guys to come and want to be a part of the AFL again.
Yeah, I love hearing that, and obviously everybody here, Shady Sports and anybody that I've dealt with, we want the AFL to succeed. So it's awesome to hear that. I gotta ask, what should we expect for you to bring as far as the overall team? I guess atmosphere. Like, is it? Are you going to be finesse? Are you going to be smack you in the mouth? Like, what kind of philosophy are you going to impose on your team? Like, I really need to ask that question.
You want to know what my philosophy is? Hey, my philosophy is to win and dominate. That's
I love it.
I'm going to bring dominance. I mean, I'm going to recruit. I'm going to do what I do. I mean, I've been known to my name around, and it just period has been known for being able to recruit and bring in guys. I mean, and just bring them to a good atmosphere and put the right pieces together. The last time I coached in Harrisburg, with the Harrisburg Stampede, I think we averaged right at 60-some points a game. And we lost in the semifinals against Baltimore. And that was only the reason why I say that. The only reason why we lost that game is because of a malfunction. And one of the reasons why I stepped away from coaching with my roster was tampered with within my organization to where,
okay, I see.
to where the unprofessionalism wasn't there for me, to where it left a sour taste in my mouth. Because you have to understand, regardless of how much money that you're making, you're still a professional athlete, and you have to run your organization like a professional organization, like it's $100 million versus 50 million. You know what I'm saying? 10 million.
Yeah, sure.
It's just that it's certain things that I expect and certain things that I live by the code when it comes to professional football. Regardless of what you're making, you're supposed to go out and apply yourself just like that same guy in that same league that you're trying to get to, as in the NFL and the CFL, which are the two highest leagues out, along with the XFL and so forth. But you have to do those things, and it's just a matter of smash mouth football, brother.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it, man. Look at this. The Georgia Force are going to bring the Force, right? That's what it's going to be about
Well,
down there, right?
a lot of things. Hey, the name speaks for itself. I'm not going to brag. I can't brag about a team I ain't put together. But
Well, I mean, you can lead. I mean, your philosophy you can brag about, though, Coach. I mean, you got the experience, you got the knowledge. Like,
right, yeah, we just got to apply it. Like I said before, we're gonna have a team full of knowledge. I can say that when you see the staff and just pay attention to things that's going on. A lot of guys that I am bringing in are former AFL, CFL guys. You got that same background in regards to knowing the game. And to be successful, you got to have guys to be able to coach them up on. I can't bring a coach in that I'm coaching him up on and also trying to coach up another professional athlete that came from the NFL to where I've seen those things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say it was an owner in the league. They were just like, oh, we signing such and such. I heard the little rumor that was floating around, right? And I just told him, I said, well, you know what? I played during a time where guys was getting cut, getting sent down just like myself, coming from different leagues. Oh, I did this and that in the NFL. I did this over here. Well, what? Like I'm going to say again, once you get between them 28 by 50 walls with them 10-yard end zones, it's a different ball game. What
it's
you
a
did
whole
in college, what you did in college, and what you did at your other outdoor league that you played in, guess what? It means nothing.
nothing. Yeah,
It means nothing until you get in there and you have to make those quick decisions, and it's just you.
I love it.
It's
I
true.
I just I just love that philosophy. It's not
Yeah.
one that I've heard a lot, man. Like,
All
I
right.
love that.
This is true Iron Man football. What people don't understand is this is back in the day football. Hey, there's no, I'm just playing one way, this and that. No. Guess what? If you're an offensive lineman, I need to see you play defensive line. If you're a DB, I need to see you play receiver. You got
No
what I'm saying?
doubt.
So that's one of the mistakes you can make in this game. You can go and say, "Oh man, I'm getting all these receivers right here. All of them run good routes." But guess what? Some of them receivers got to play DB.
Yeah. And Iron Man football, I mean, it goes both ways. So
Hey, I'm gonna look at. Let me find a DB that I had a passion to play receiver and play receiver in high school and things like that, and was pretty good, but got pushed over here. You got what I'm saying? I always
oh
tell the story about Trayvon Diggs and his brother. Them, I've seen those guys. I witnessed one of the best athletes I ever seen with my own eyes, and that was Stephon Diggs. That's with Buffalo Bills. I say he can play DB.
I mean, hey, if and if you're looking at that and they have that experience, and honestly, a lot of them do. You know, like when I played, when I played both ways as far as offense and defense. They moved me to linebacker at some point in time, so I mean, center would be my primary position if I had still been playing today. But yeah, that would be, that I get that, man, and they're there. There's a plenty of them out there. So
It's kind of like that old Bobby Bowden. You know, Bobby Bowden used
yeah.
to sign 6 or 7 receivers. There you go.
Uh-huh.
He wouldn't recruit DBs, not unless you were just off the charts. He would sign so many receivers. You go back and look at them Streets and Smith magazines, and you'd be like, I said, you don't know, you too young to know about Streets and Smith, man.
I may not be as young as you think I am.
I'll mess with you. But I always go back and I look up like, man, Florida State, how you sign 5 or 6 receivers in one class? And
So
then
many.
and then next thing you know, you'll see this guy, he was rated this, but guess what? His hands wasn't as good. So that's how he created his defensive backfield. And the best man, whoever can catch, gonna stay over here. Who can't, going on the other side of the ball. And it's kind of the opposite that you have to do. You got to get guys that can be able to cover and also run routes. You got
Mhm.
not a guy that can run routes, but you can't cover. You can't really do too much for me not unless you're an OS. There's only one OS in this game. You got what
Right.
I'm saying? And so now you got to find guys that can combo play and do those things and be that Iron Man of arena football.
Yeah, for sure. Sam asked a question a little bit ago. I'm not ignoring you, Sam. I just wanted to save it here towards the end of the interview. Sam wanted to know, Coach, is what did it feel like to be enshrined into the South Carolina Hall of Fame?
Oh man. Um, Unexpected. I can say that. It felt good just to be in there. Um, it's only 2 ways to get in there, and that's
Mhm.
as an athlete, and me getting in there was from my body of work that I've did throughout the state of South Carolina, along with my playing days as well, on all different levels. But to get that award and being there, it was something that I wasn't expecting because I didn't go into business saying, "Hey, I want to be the humanitarian." You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't go into business with that mindset. I went into the business mindset of being able to help mentor kids and develop kids at these different positions and things like that. And to give you a background on us, we've produced over 400 some kids since I started business in 2011.
Oh, that's
We
awesome.
have 12 kids from our organization that's playing in the NFL. We have another 4 that's playing in the XFL, 6 that's playing in the CFL, and we got 10 plus that's playing in the indoor game. And I'm pretty sure every last one of them gonna try to call me once, once it gets out there. And it can't be that way. That's the thing about it is, you got to make those decisions, and you already know the head coach and the quarterback are the 2 assholes on the team. So that's the type of response. It's not that type of response. It's just that you have that hard shell. Don't take it the wrong way. It's just that things and decisions have to be made regardless of how it's presented and things like that. Just can't take it hard. You got to keep working. And to be in that position, man, it was wonderful. Getting up there and then I'm, saying my speech and giving thanks to everyone. That's when it really hit me, just in regards to it's just the body of work,
Mhm.
body of work to be able to be in the building at the same time and be enshrined with Richard Seymour and John
Oh, that's
at the
incredible.
same time. We all knew each other. That's what's so crazy. We all knew each other from that, and it's just we used to hang out in college. We was all in college around the same time, And to be in that position to get enshrined, it was amazing.
Yeah, congratulations on that, coach. Again, I mean that's remarkable and amazing. And it sounds like the Georgia Force and the AFL have a good individual down there representing them in the future, and I'm excited to see what you do. Usually, I close out these interviews where I just let you kind of have the floor for a little bit to thank who you want to thank, say anything that you may need to say, for a few minutes, however long you want to take. So the floor is yours, Coach.
What if I say I ain't got nothing to say?
I mean, if you don't have anything to say, that's cool. That's fine too. I mean,
No, I honestly, I want to thank. Honestly, I want to thank the organization, Maurice, and the organization for actually giving me the opportunity to, and the time frame that they gave me to make that decision. And they could have easily said, the first time they came at me, no, Ramon, we're going to go in another direction. It's just that there's a lot of things and key factors that I had to put in play to make this decision. And it wasn't about just with my business, with family, things like that. And I just wanted to make sure it was the right fit. I prayed on it, and I got advice. I spoke to the right people, and like it's fitting. And like I said, I've always wanted to get back into coaching. It was just a matter of if it made sense to me. And being in Atlanta, it made sense to me. Like I said before, it's being right down the road from me. It made sense to me to take the opportunity to get my feet back wet and to see where it goes from here, and to see if this is longevity or whether it's just one of those things where, I had that wild hair up my butt and wanted to do it again, or if it's something that I want to continue to do. And with me having a successful training business, that's one thing, like I said, that came into play that I did not want to let go, and I'm not going to let go, regardless of how great we do. Is just that's my thing. That's my go-to. That's my business. And the things, like I said, the other organization that I have, we spreading the word and educating the world around with quarterback play and just educating everybody up on with the QB legacy. And those are things that will continue to get bigger, things that's going to continue to help kids out throughout the country. And also, hey, in this position here, where I'm in a position now to be able to help some guys out that's wanting that professional opportunity, because I've been that diamond in the rough guy before, to where I'm coming out of a small school. You think I'm a small school and I can't ball, but every workout I've ever went to with the big boys, I showed them up. And it's going to be another Ramon Robinson out here and things like that, And so, and I'm very excited for it. And I'm also very excited to actually coach against another South Carolinian, and that's Foggy.
oh, Foggy, yeah, up there in Minnesota, right?
Yeah, Foggy's in Minnesota, and we all from the same area. I'm from Anderson, he's from Lawrence, and it's one of those things. The Carolina guys, when we get the opportunity, it's going to be real nice, And I was happy to see that they appointed him as the head coach. I played against Burt at Orlando, and Terry Fair, he was my teammate when I played in Green Bay. And matter of fact, we just saw each other at our first year anniversary in Green Bay, over the winter. And actually, he was coaching with the squad, so he couldn't even walk out with us at the time. But it was great to see him. He's with West Texas,
Yep.
and yeah, him being a Detroit guy, I figured he would try to get back towards home, but he's staying out in West Texas, man. But it's going to be good to see. And I'm not sure if everybody else that's with an organization, but those guys there, I know that I either know with Foggy being an OG from the area, and you got Bert. We played against each other. I played with Fair, and I'm pretty sure there's plenty more out there once we get to going, and just the opportunity to be there, and I'm just happy for it. And I'm grateful for it.
Well, I'll tell you here from Shady Sports and from myself, EPT Sports Legacy, QB Legacy, Q, sorry, Sports Academy and QB Legacy. As long as the Georgia Force and the AFL are in good hands with a coach like you, representing and doing the parts that you do for the sport as well. We are hopefully going to get Foggy on at some point in time here for an interview as well. We got EJ Burt coming up next week, and we have Chris Siegfried out in West Texas. So it's
Gotcha.
funny you mentioned both those. We have those guys coming on here this
Gotcha.
weekend actually as well. So it's funny you mentioned those two. But I appreciate you, Coach. I know it's been a whirlwind few hours. I know you probably still haven't even gotten to all your emails and inbox messages. So
Right.
the fact that you came on and took carved some time out for us here at Shady Sports Network, I really appreciate you. And I just want to wish you good luck here on your journey with the AFL in 2024, man.
No, I appreciate it. I know the routine, man, and I'm not one of those going to try to big time you with interviews over because it's not from ESPN and things like that. So I know the routine. I know the routine, and I'm all about showing love and getting ratings and things of that sort up. And I love what y'all got going on here, and I appreciate you having me on. And I also want to give a big shout out to my college, Benedict College, on another undefeated season. And yeah, check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Benedict College. Yeah, yeah.
So,
So
of course, I'm gonna be looking at some guys from there as well. I am, but to talk
hey,
about,
I mean, diamond in the rough, right? Championship
so,
mindset, coach, right?
yes, indeed, yes,
For
indeed. But
sure.
I appreciate y'all having me on, though.
And I really appreciate you again, with it, and good luck to you here in the future. And we'll be in touch, and maybe down the road we'll have you on again for maybe some bigger announcements. Maybe
Sounds good.
sounds good. Thank you again for your time, coach. Have a good night.
All right, thank you.